A few days ago, maybe last week, we started speaking about the concept of Lashon Hara, that if a person speaks Lashon Hara, right, if he's a habitual speaker of Lashon Hara, we had explained that he loses his mitzvot to the person that he speaks about. So if somebody speaks Lashon Hara about you, we said that it's actually a blessing. Why? Because automatically you're getting their mitzvot, and your averot are actually transferring over to him. Correct? We had a whole story with a guy, he was learning all day. Remember we said that he was learning all day. When he came to Yom Adin after 120, he saw he had a lot of errors which he never even thought that he would have imagined of doing them. And no mitzvot. So they said because you always spoke Lashon on this evil guy, you took all his errors and he took all your mitzvot. We made this clip at one point. Today we want to start with part one. That was the story. So I got a lot of feedback, Rabbi, how could it be? How could it be? It's not impossible. So Rabbotai, what I decided to do, Bezrat Hashem B'l Neder, as part one, I'm going to try to read the halakha today. No stories. I want to read the halakha. And then Bezrat Hashem B'l Neder, we're going to try to look into the sources in the coming up classes. So he says like this in Perik Aleph, in Halakha Bet, in Ve'en Lamo Michshol, Shmirat HaDibur, in Chelik Bet. He says like this, Rabotai, he brings it down as a halakha, not a story. Kol HaMisaper Lashon Hara al Bnei Adam. Anyone that speaks Lashon Hara on people, Kol HaAvanos Shel Otam Bnei Adam Ovrim Lezeh Shediber. All the errors of the person that spoke Lashon Hara on, meaning say Reuven is speaking Lashon Hara on Shimon, correct? If Reuven is speaking Lashon Hara on Shimon, or on Levin, Yehuda, and Yisachar, all their errors get automatically transferred, wired to Reuven. So he says over here, Otam Ben Adam, Ovrim Lezeh Shediber. All those errors, the people that were spoken Lashon Hara on, get transferred to the person that spoke Lashon Hara. U'mitzvatav shel hamidaber overed lo'otam shediber alhem. However, he says, and the mitzvot get transferred to the people that you spoke Lashon Hara on. So Rabbotai, we think it's nothing. We think it's okay to speak, but we don't chap what it means to bring another Jew down. We don't know the importance of what it means to make sure every Jew has to be picked up. Rabbotai, where is this? Where does the halachot come and play? Where? Husband, wife, parents with children, employees with employers, friends, spouse, whatever. Give me any rabbis, talmidim, anything. Rabbotai, wherever you have people, wherever you have communication, you always have these halachot apply. People think what? They're going to get a divorce. They have a pakashu. Shut the pakashus. What are you proving? Today we see people don't even have a heart. They go, they full. I don't want to say they undress the guy or the guy undresses the woman. They want to prove to each other that you're pakashu, you chas v'shalom zona, you vor, ti drogoy, ti krachabor, everybody. Rabotai, all these students for what? Just because something didn't work out now. A person has to be able to have control. You can't just start speaking whatever you want, whenever you want. There are laws that dictate how we speak. So he says like this, Rabotai. He continues in the next page. He says, "V'anashim rabim yagilu yom adin." Many people are going to come to the day of judgment. V'yigalu she'harabem min hamitzvot she'asu kam be'olam hazeh. It's going to be revealed to them that many of the mitzvot that they did in this world, lo muzkarim sham, they're not going to be mentioned there at all. Forget it. Where's your learning Torah? Where's your tefillin? Where's your Shabbat? Rabotai, let me just say this on the onset. Chas v'shalom, this does not tell anybody that they could now go into Averis. What's the point? I'm not going to refrain myself. That is not what we want to try to prove. That's not going to help you, Rabotai. We want to try to bring out a point of here. A person has to try to be able to refrain how he actually speaks, control his speech. This is what we're trying to bring in. Not that you shouldn't do mitzvot. Everybody has an obligation to keep mitzvot no matter what. So he says it like this. Ulumat zot, Rabotai, and against this, yashimu otam ba'avirot chamorot shelo asu otam klal b'olam hazeh. He's going to be accused of the strict, severe avers that the other people did in this world, which he never in the world would have dreamed of doing. V'zot bichlal shedibru lashon hara ala acherim. Why is all this? Why am I losing mitzvot? And why am I getting other people's aver chashva only for one reason? Why? Because I decided to speak Lashon Hara on somebody else. Rabotai, what means Lashon? We learned on Shabbat. What means Lashon? You guys remember? Lashon means when you speak the truth and you are degrading a person, you're degrading a person down. You're making him go down. That is Lashon, even though it's the truth. But if in that language you have something that's going to degrade that person, it is forbidden for you to say it. Unless there's constructive purposes. These are halachot outside. It's not the class for this. So he says like this, The whole reason why you lose your mitzvot and you get the averot is because you decided to speak lashon hara on other people. Ulam Rabotai, very important. When do we tell you that this transfer of mitzvot and averot happened? When does this happen? Ulam kol zeh, all this, however, is davka im lo chazru b'teshuvah, Rabotai. That specifically if a person didn't do teshuvah. If you didn't do teshuvah, you lost a lot of your mitzvot. You should know, it's not a joke. V'lo bikshu michila me'otam anashim shedibru alehem. And they did not ask forgiveness on those people that they spoke on them. So people think they come Yom Kippur, Micholo Duret, Micholo Kunet, Micholo Duret. It became a custom, Micholo Duret, Micholo Kunet. Like nothing. They bash them, they make them lose their jobs, they divorce them, Micholo Kunet. You don't even know what the guy did to you. Rabotai, there's a whole thing that if you're going to say it, it's going to make more hatred amongst you. Stay away, just say, listen, I messed up somewhere, please forgive me. I'll try to be better next time. Try to go around it so you don't have to actually bring out the problem. So therefore he says you have to go ask Michila from them. Say, a lot of times it happens with the wife, with the children, Rabotai, even with the children, Rabotai. Remember, Bezrat Hashem, when the children reach 12, 13 years old, on the day of the bar mitzvah for the girl, on the day of the bar mitzvah for the boy, you must ask them for Michila. All these time we're bashing them. We're going to have to ask them for Michila. What do you think? The kids are yours? The kids were deposited to you by Kadosh Baruch Hu to raise them in the way of Torah. That's it. Automatically you think it's your children, you can do whatever you want. Absolutely not. Your wife doesn't belong to you. Your husband doesn't belong to you. Your children don't belong to you. Your money doesn't, everything was given to you only so you could be able to serve Hashem. So a person has to be careful, even with small children. Rabotai, he says like this. This is all when you don't do teshuvah. We say that you have the transfer of mitzvot and avirot. Aval Rabotai, im chazru b'teshu u'bikshu michila mimi shedeber alav. If you did teshuvah, you said, I felt bad. No more, I'm never going to do it again. Rabotai, and you ask Michila from the person that you spoke on, machzirim lahem bechazara et kol zuchiyotachem b'techila. They give you all your mitzvahs back, and they give you all his averos back. Forget it, the transfer never happened. And now in Halacha Gimel says very important, Rabotai, don't think you have people that they speak and they talk nonsense all day long. Mamash, they have nothing else to do in this world. He says like this, Rabotai. Careful, Rabotai, we're not going to end over here. It's just I'm limited on time. We're going to have to see the footnotes. But the halacha, he says like this. Ba'alei lashon hara, anybody who's a habitual person that goes and he speaks lashon hara and he likes to bring other people down, especially Jews, Rabotai, Jews that keep Torah, mitzvot, he likes to bring them down. Rabotai, listen carefully. Ein lahem chelek l'olam haba. They're not going to have a portion in the world to come. V'nichretem ve'ovdim v'nidunim al gadol l'shatam v'chataam l'olam l'olmei olamim. They're going to be cut off. They're going to be lost. They're going to be judged on their great wicked sin that they did for how long? He says, "Le'olam ulamei olamim rachman l'tzal oleinu." May Hashem have mercy on us forever and ever, Rabotai. So therefore, Rabotai, it's not one thing we come, you learn halachot here and there. When you learn something, you want to try to apply. Is it going to happen overnight? Absolutely not. But at least a person is going to have an awareness of what I'm doing is wrong. That in itself is a step up to becoming a better person. Bezrat Hashem, we will continue with the sources. Baruch Adonai L'olam, Amen, Amen.